start on, and when Heidi joins the call, we can catch her up or fill her in at the end. So thanks very much for agreeing to judge the competition. We appreciate your help in making the student competition a success. So we're going to need to have this judging completed by the end of the day, so midnight on Friday, November 20th. And I'm going to turn it over to Mark Schroll right away, who's been organizing the competition. And Mark's the Senior Director of Strategic Partnerships at PLTW and the founder of the Innovation Portal. So who better to talk with us today? All right. Thanks, Mark.
and that means if something goes wrong, there's my email in the lower right-hand corner, and please use it. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So what we've built for you is a way for you to, the portfolios and the work that's going to be shared with you. I want to give you an overview from Alana and Thor's position, how they're going to distribute the portfolios, how you access the portfolios and can judge them at your leisure. You can. One of the things up front to look for is that if you're in the middle of a sentence, if you're giving feedback or scoring, you can shut your computer down, walk away, and come right back and take up where you left off. So you can grade at your leisure over that period. So we're going to show you how that works, how the system works, how to access the portfolios, how to score them, how to find the rubric, and some other resources that we're creating for you. One of those resources also is we're recording this session at the moment. So if any of this demonstration you need to go back to it, we'll be sending you a YouTube link for this, so you can kind of fast forward to the part that you're interested in. So put all that at your fingertips. This is the plan for today. First of all, the things above the line, number 1 and 2, many of you have done, but I'm going to just reiterate. This is very important for Alana and Thor to have your Innovation Portal account connected to the competition account as a judge, so that the portfolios can be distributed. We'll show you how to do that. And then 3 through 8 is an overview of the system, how to access the portfolios, as I mentioned before. We're going to talk about the rubric, and if you have questions as we go, you can certainly interrupt me. There's so few of us on the GoToMeeting session that we'll just leave the microphones open, or you can type your questions down in the chat session, and I'll try to address them that way as well. So we'll talk about the rubric, how to find rubric and examples of the rubric and other resources from past projects, and then finally how to submit and verify your scores and put them in place. And you will be able to keep, you will be keeping a copy of the scores, and Elaine and Thor will have their own copy of the scores as well. So with that, we'll jump ahead. If you haven't done this already, this is very important. It's 2 email exchanges to you and your email account from the Innovation Portal. The first order of business is to create an Innovation Portal account of your own. The Air Force Academy had a group of students using this, and the colonel reported back to me that it took an average of 3 minutes and 12 seconds to register. Why they thought we needed to know that, I don't know, but they're very efficient, and they were very sweet. So it doesn't take long to create an account. And then once you've created an account, it asks you for an email. Like creating accounts online, it asks you for an email address that you want to use. It's very important. If you have more than one email address that you use, it's very important that you remember the email address that you used for the account. And then once the account, it'll send you an email, and then you click a verification and your account is created. I create a password and things. But whatever email you used, please send that back to Elena if you haven't yet. And she will then, in turn, grab that email and put it into her system and invite you as a judge. So you'll get a second email from innovationportal.org that will invite you to the competition. That's number 3. And then it says, if you accept this invitation, we'll connect your account. And then once your account is connected, you get a verification email, and that's it. You're connected. It's kind of like connecting empty buckets if you're looking for for lack of a better visual. Alana's got a big bucket, and your judges' buckets are all sitting there. They're all empty. Nobody's submitted yet. But once they do, she will have all the portfolios in her large bucket, and the system will be able to distribute the portfolios randomly to all of you. And this is a picture of what it kind of looks like from her end. There you all are on the right-hand side with your Innovation Portal accounts connected. Alana's job is to communicate back and forth to the teams, to all of you. there's the student teams in the upper left, and they're building their portfolios, and they've registered for the competition already. So Alana has their email addresses and their account information. They're building their portfolios, and when they're ready, they've got from till midnight tomorrow night to submit their portfolios, but it'll look something like this. The students will go back into the EMpwr student design competition. It will say you've already registered, and then now that the submission window is open, it'll say which portfolio would you like to submit. So they check which portfolio they would like to submit, and once they submit it, it makes a copy of the entire portfolio. This is important if you're their instructor. It doesn't take we never touch the original. The students can continue to work on the original. They can make changes, but whatever they submitted, it's analogous to making a photocopy of your entire portfolio, videos, links, everything, and then freezing that in time and putting that in the mail and sending it to the Kern Foundation. So it goes into the competition bucket, if you would. When the window closes at midnight on November 13th, there's the set of portfolios that need to be graded. And then Alana will take in her administrative dashboard account. She will enter things like, I want each portfolio graded 3 times, or 4, or however many it works out. And I don't want any of my judges to see the same portfolio twice. And then the system will assign portfolios to all of you. One of the things that Thor and Alana and I have talked about is we are able to rearrange the assignments so that you won't have to grade your own students' work and things like that. And we'll work that out so that the ones sitting in front of you are just the ones you need to grade. So you don't see, you aren't faced with all of the portfolios. And then, like I mentioned before, you get to grade at your leisure. And then when your grades are the way, and your scores and your comments are the way you'd like to have them, you hit submit, and you keep a copy, and Alana and Thor see a copy on their end, and then the scores are averaged. And like a constantly updated spreadsheet, the higher average scores rise to the top, and the lower average scores move their way down, and you can see all the work and all the comments from the judges as they go. So that's the system behind the innovation portal. From your students' perspective, I just wanted to throw this in, kind of a second to last slide. This is what they've been doing. They've created a portfolio. They've connected to their project partners. If you haven't done this as a class, you can, as a class tool, we built the tool to be a classroom tool first. You can connect with your teacher and receive feedback from your teachers and instructors at any point, very much like the judging system you're going to see. You can also receive that feedback, connect to and receive that feedback from mentors from day one all the way through the entire process. And then, like today's discussion, you can enter any number of competitions if you qualify for them on the innovation portal. And then in the future, you can make as many portfolios in your account as you'd like. So that's what the students are looking at. This is the last slide before we kind of jump over to the innovation portal and I demonstrate the entire process. These are some resources that we'll be sending all of you. These are just physical files, so you can kind of look through it, but these have been helpful to judges before. The one on the left is just a PDF step-by-step of what I'm about to show you, how to access your portfolios. It is pretty simple, but if there's a step in there that I'm not clear about, at least you have this document and the video to go back to. The second and third, the middle visual there and the one on the right, are connected. The complete rubric, the engineering design process portfolio scoring rubric, it's a mouthful, but it was named by the group of university professors and industry people. We brought about 200 people together. I can give you the history of how that all worked together, but to capture and validate, and then 4 years of NSF study to iterative reliability studies on the design process rubric and things like that. This is embedded in the innovation portal, but we found that some judges like to have the whole rubric just sitting in front of them. I'd like to have the paper version on my desk, but have the student version sitting in front of me. That's easier for me to work, so we wanted to provide that for you. And then the last one, the middle one, are reflective questions that are also embedded in the portal. In other words, the students have had these, both the rubric and these reflective questions in front of them for this entire process. But it's just another way to look at almost a step-by-step. Are you doing, have you offered the reviewers of this portfolio these things, and that was derived from the rubric. So we found, judges have found these to be very useful tools, and we wanted you to have them as well. So as I jump over to the innovation portal and show you what that looks like, have I generated any questions that anybody has at this point?
Love the visuals.
What's that?
I say we love the visuals.
Excellent. I'm very much a visual learner on my end, so I had to, you were stuck with me one way or the other. Excellent. So I'll slide the presentation aside. We'll go to the innovation portal and I'll show you what you see. One lens to look at the innovation portal through is that when we built it, the design requirements for it, we thought at first that we'd have to create a teacher account, a student account, a judge's account, and it turned out that especially at the collegiate level, that one person often played many roles. We had students who were building their own portfolios, but were also mentors to high school students. So there's just an account. And the reason for, when you create an account, you create it just like your students do. And when you log in, it does the same thing. And there's a nuance for a judge that I want to share with you. So with that lens in mind, that once you log in, I treat you just as if you were a student. I'm going to do that here. I'm going to click the login button, and I'm going to log into my account. Once you've logged in and push the remember me, it will remember your password and things, so it's quicker. But when you log in, I just want to make that clear here. It will take you to the portfolio page. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, the title of this page is My Portfolios. It assumes you want to build a portfolio. And as a judge, that's not where you want to be, actually. So I wanted to offer you that that's expected. It takes you there. Where we want to go as a judge is actually down here to opportunities. So on the left-hand side, even though it took you to My Portfolios, the next step is to go to opportunities. And in the opportunities page, you can see it, again, the title in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see that there's 10 opportunities at the moment on the innovation portal. The Keen competition is right here, but I want to draw your attention that as soon as you come here, it will default to the current opportunities. As of midnight tomorrow night, the Keen competition will actually jump into past opportunities. And this is important because if you need to get inside the EMpwr student design competition. So I'm going to mimic that if we can. I've set us up for a past competition as a judge. So when you come to opportunities, your next step is to go to past competition because the window will have closed. And if you can just superimpose Keen on top of this NSF Prime Grant Portfolio Access, this is what it would look like. You find the Keen thing, you click on it, and because you're a judge, you'll see the same thing I see here. You will default to a description of the competition that all the students have seen. But because you're connected as a judge, you will get what I'm circling with the cursor, a list of what programmers have listed as reviews. And this is you. So I'm going to click on those. And if you do this now, it will just default to there are no portfolios for you to review at the moment. Once Alana and Thor have distributed the portfolios, you will see a total here. Now you won't get 48, and if they send you 48, you can send you can send a letter to Thor saying, "What are you doing?" But you'll get 3 or 4, and they will be listed right here by title, and you can see the students who have submitted that work. So now that's how you access the portfolios. Let's look inside one of the portfolios to grade. So I'm going to come down here to this one right here, humidity issues on Guam, and I'm going to click on that one. And when you jump inside the portfolio, if you'll picture a 3-ring binder kind of sitting in here that you gave your students with little tabs off to the right, I'll show you where a couple things to look at and how to access the scoring part of it. So a couple things in the blue menu bar at the top. If you'll see there's something called complete review. We'll come back to that. It's very much analogous to a Amazon page when you're ordering something. It says, is this what you want to send in? So we could go there and come back, but we'll go there in just a minute. The portfolio defaults to the cover page of a portfolio. And on the cover page, students have been instructed to put their journal entries. So that should be here along with other information about the team. There's nothing to grade per se on this page. The cover page was originally envisioned as literally the cover of the 3-panel or the 3-ring binder portfolio where students put information about why they chose the project and things like that in their team. For the Keen competition, however, there is an item on there for you to look at but we'll discuss where to put comments about it, because this was unique to the Keen competition, was the entrepreneurial journal. So students will either put a link here or put their information for the journal on the cover page, and it defaults there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down to, and I'm going to draw your attention to the right-hand side of the screen. These letters correspond to what the rubric developers have called elements, the elements of the rubric. Your focus will be on 5 of them. The first one, letter A, presentation and justification of a problem. We'll jump into that one in just a minute. But A, B, C, D, and then we'll skip over E, even though you can go inside and look at it, and F. So students were responsible to present information in these 5 elements or 5 tabs for this competition. And though you are able to go down and score other things if they chose to complete these, as a judge, we want for this particular competition, we'd ask you not to just to leave those scores blank. You can go look and see if they put something there, but just to score the 5. So we'll jump into letter A here. I'm going to click on letter A. And once I've clicked on letter A, you can see that this tab stays blue, and also it writes on the top that you're in element A. In this one, if there were more information than this person put on here, it would appear in front of you. Let me jump down to something maybe that it is. No, they just kept putting them in. Okay, so in this particular portfolio, there would be information on this portfolio here. And then I want to show you what the students have seen if you haven't done this already. You see the same thing the students do. As you mouse over tab A, the panel jumps out and a couple things are sitting in front of you. One is the actual rubric and each of the rubric identifiers. So it defaults to the highest score, very AP-like, meaning here's the rubric for a 5. This is what's being asked. As you move down through the rubric, it becomes less and less defined as the scores move down, and there is some redundancy, like a good rubric saying, we would like to see this, and as you climb back up the rubric, it becomes more and more refined. The other thing the students have had access to, and I mentioned earlier, is the kind of reflective questions. This is also helpful for judges. This is what the students were asked to include in this particular tab. So that's a resource for you as a judge, these reflective questions, and that's also one of the files that we'll be sending you. And then another resource for you that I'd like to show you before we show you the access to the scoring rubric. As a teacher of design or in this field, I can appeal to you that one of the greatest tools you have each year is the projects from previous years. You pull those out and say, if you were on this team, what would you have recommended that team do? I mentioned earlier that part of the NSF grant, over the last 4 years, we've been able to take, with student permission and parent permission, where the students were under 18, we've been able to pull portfolios put on the innovation portal that were aimed at this rubric, redact all the names and references to their organizations, and then put them in front of teams of scorers who have used this rubric to grade them. And when 30 or 40 professors and graders look at a particular thing and the agreement is perfect, we were allowed to take those examples, if you would, those scored examples, and put them on the innovation portal. And I mentioned this to you because this is in the tutorials that the students have seen for the innovation portal. It's a nice tool to say, what does a 3 look like, or what does a 4 look like? But as a judge, this may be a helpful tool to you. I just wanted to show you where it was. There's a couple ways to access it. Let's go to the element rubric for A. If you wanted to see what a 4 looked like, if you look down at the bottom of the rubric, if we have an example, and we do here, there's a PDF document of it. So I'll just click on this, and then just before I do, if you look at the top of the screen, you'll notice it doesn't take me away from the portfolio. It just opens a new tab. And it will download the PDF document, and I want to show you what's in there. And as you take a look at this one, it tells you at the top, this is element A. This particular thing scored a 4 of many different people looking at it through the lens of the rubric. Right away, it tells you a summary of all those comments coming back from those judges. This is what it scored, this is why it scored it, and why it didn't score a 5. Then it comes down here and shows you where in the rubric, or where in the element titles that fits. Then it gives you the entire rubric, but it highlights that this is indeed a 4. And then finally, not to make you dizzy, I will bring you down and show you this is what the students had submitted. So in element A, they were supposed to create the problem statement and the justification for the problem statement. In this case, for perspective, this group had done, they had found a great number of accidents that happened in loading docks and places where forklifts are used, because you have no idea. The driver is driving straight with a particular load. If they lift it up, it changes the whole center of gravity, and then they turn a corner and the whole thing flips over, and people can get hurt or even killed, because they were simply moving too fast around the corner relative to where the center of gravity now was. And so these students did the calculus of how to measure where the center of gravity was for a given forklift, and they made a third-party thing that would essentially govern the speed, meaning if you start lifting that load, it would reduce the maximum speed that you could go to keep within a safety limit in case you did turn a corner and all those things. So it was a wonderful project, but they submitted this kind of work in order to get a 4. So I wanted to show you that this may be more information that than you need as a judge, but if you want to jump over to it, it exists, as I mentioned again, underneath each element over here. Or if you want a more direct way to see it, I'm jumping over to the left-hand side. In the Learning Center over here, the scored examples are listed by element name. So if you happen to be scoring element B, you want to see one of these things, it lays it out a little bit more nicer visually for you to access the same PDF files. So 2 ways to get at those resources. So I wanted to show you those. Okay, so what we've done is showed you how to access the portfolios, then how to access the, one way to access the rubric or to look at it. The last thing we need to show you is how to access the scoring rubric and how to, see if I can find something with some, there we go, with some content in it. So if I were going to score element F, click on element F tab, and if you'll draw your eyes down to the lower right-hand corner, this is the most unintuitive thing that we have for judges, and something I want to highlight. This quill pen in the corner accesses this has been connected there. The students don't see this, but because you're a judge and you've been assigned this portfolio, this shows up on your screen. When I click it, it overlays the ability to score on the screen. Now I've got a wheel mouse in front of me. As I roll the wheel mouse up and down, this is an exercise in screen real estate, you can see the work roll up and scroll down behind the scoring sheet. If the scoring sheet's in your way, you can collapse it and read and then bring the scoring sheet back up, and you always know you're on element F. We're going to show you how to score and make comments on element F right now. In the comment section, this is just you can type whatever, it's not required, but if you'd like to make comments about why you scored this, what score you gave it, you can add it right there. It defaults to this question mark, meaning it hasn't been scored yet. To look at the rubric another way, judges have this little icon in the corner of all of these grades. This is where you actually choose a score. So I'm going to jump this out. And for your benefit, we created this floating rubric because this is very much like an eye doctor to zero in on the best score. It's a best fit. If a student has most of what it takes to get a 2, but not quite enough to get a 3, then it's a 2. This is the words from the rubric specialist talking about grading these things. So to zero in on this, you can jump back and forth and read the rubric for a 3 and say, you know what, this one is definitely a 3. I'll jump over to a 4 and say, no, there's not enough there for relative to a 4, so we're going to call it a 3. So to choose that, I actually choose a score here. So this, where it says choose score, this is where you've scored something, and then you've seen my great typing skills down here in the corner. But I want to add this information, and I want to show you what that looks like just before you send it back to Alana and Thorpe. So that's all there is to grading a section. There is no save button. It's been saving every few microseconds as we've typed. So as I mentioned before, if you have to leave and come back to this, it will take you right back to where you were. You can take up again. So I'm going to go back and score letter D is one of the elements that you have. And I'm going to pull up the scoring sheet for D. I'm going to click in the corner, take out my floating rubric and pull on a 2 and kind of look at the work. If I wanted to, back again away and read the work and scroll up and down, I can. I'm going to type again some text down here just so you can see it in a minute. Let's say this one, we decided this was going to be a 4. So we've given this a 4. We've typed our comments down here. And again, that's all there was to it. And your responsibilities for each portfolio is just letter A, B, C, D, and F. And then also the journal entry that's on the cover page. And we'll talk about that in just a second. What I want to show you now is that the process for each tab is exactly the same. And again, I want to caution you, just score. You can take a look at any of the tabs you'd like, but just please score only those 5. And then when you're ready to submit, saying, I think I have this the way I want it, you have 2 choices as a judge. One, you can go through in a very singular fashion and score 1 and submit it, and score the second one and submit it, and score the third and submit it. Or at this point, because I haven't submitted anything, I can just jump to the next portfolio and get them all the way I want it. This is also another option for judges. Get them the way I'd like it, and then submit them, one after the other in the way I'm about to show you as a group at the end. So let's do that. So this is how you score, and then for this particular portfolio, humidity issues on Guam, this is how you submit the scores to Alana and Thor. You come up here to complete review, which we looked at before. And it takes you to an Amazon-ish kind of, summary page. And you'll see that the score for letter A, the 3 that we assigned, was there. And then if we had any comments, they will show up here. I didn't add any comments there. But in element D down here, I did add some comments. And so it put the 4 there, and here's the comments. And if you have lengthy comments, this will just expand down. And we'll see all the things. There's the 3 I put for element F. And there's question marks. So you should have some question marks on there, and elements E and then after F all the way down. So it gives you a quick look at what you've done. If you want to go back and change your comments or the score, at this point we just go, hit the back button or go back to the portfolio and keep going. So to submit them, if this all looks correct to you, we'll roll down here to the bottom of the screen. And then there's this radio button down here. It just says, I understand and wish to complete this review. All this sentence says is that as soon as I click the complete review button, I will not be able to edit anything any longer. Right now, if Alana were at the other end of this competition, she would see that this portfolio was under review, but it hasn't been completed yet. As soon as I click the, I understand, I get to keep a copy, they'll keep a copy. But as soon as you hit this button, the scores go into the system. You can come back and look at them anytime you'd like, compare them to the next portfolios that you're reviewing if you wish. And the score, like I said, will be in the system. And then the next judge who looks at that same portfolio, their score will be added to that and then averaged. And then the system at the other end will just keep track of the competition from there. So that's kind of a look at the entire system, with one exception that I'll pause before we go into, and that exception is the journal and where we're going to score that. But I think it's a good time for me to pause and see if I've generated any questions at this point.
So Mark, this is Ken. I'm not quite sure how to score as a group. So you've just shown us how to score an individual and submit an individual. Are we going to look at the group approach? Submitting all at once?
The group approach. I'm sorry, Ken. Could you?
Oh, I thought there was a way to. I could go and grade all the portfolios assigned to me.
Oh yes, I see. Yes, I apologize. Sure, I said that in passing, but I guess I didn't draw a very good picture. Thank you for asking. Okay, I'll do that. So what I'm going to do is. When I go back into, again, forgive me for not using the actual Keen competition, there's nothing in it, but as I go back here to my reviews, if you remember the screen from before, in this mode, let's say that these were the 3 different portfolios assigned to you, Ken. You can carbon anode, lawnmower, Kickstarter, and the cracked iPhone screen. These will be sitting in front of you in that review category all the time. Your name will be where my name is now, and it will say, if I finish grading them, currently it would say 0 of, if if you had 3. This would say 0, 3 because I haven't sent any of them in. So if I wanted to go look at new carbon anode, I could click inside this one and then start the grading process like I talked about before. Jump into A and add some grades, and then if I want to submit at that point, I can, or I have some judges who grade A in each of their 3 portfolios. So I graded A in new carbon anode. Now I want to come down to Lawnmower Kickstarter and go inside there and grade A, and go inside cracked iPhone screen and grade A. One of the things our system can't do is display all of the A's at once. Does that make sense? You have to go inside each portfolio at this particular point in our programming. You have to go inside each portfolio and grade it as a unique thing on your screen.
Yes.
So did I give you a way to do that? Okay. Yeah.
Because sometimes I didn't realize I could grade tab A in each of the portfolios I'm assigned, and then because that's helpful to know. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. And we wanted that option for you. I wish I could display it better. I have programmers who can rhyme swear words with my last name, but they pull through. They're amazing programmers, and this is what they've given us. So to grade in that method, which is very popular, by the way, Ken, to do that, to grade 1 and then jump out, it requires you to jump back into, say, Lawnmower Kickstarter, grade A, jump back out, a cracked iPhone screen. You can do this over and over again through each of the 3 or 4 portfolios assigned to you, and then when you're ready, got them all the way you want, then you can just go inside one like we did before, and then go to that complete review screen, and then just submit, and then go to the next one and submit, go to the next one, submit, and you're done. And one way to check to see that you are done is that if you, what I mentioned earlier, if this was the example I'm giving you, Ken, where it said 0 out of 3, as soon as you submit one of them, it will say 1 has been submitted out of 3, 2 out of 3, and 3 out of 3. So as soon as you see this feedback system for you saying 3 out of 3, you know you've submitted everything. Another way to know that you have completed and sent them in to Alana is the word complete for this new carbon anode. This has been sent in. The one for humidity issues on Guam down here, this is still active. So if you see the word active, it means that you may have scored everything, but haven't submitted it yet to Alana. So these are some feedback mechanisms for you as a judge.
Great.
All right. Other questions before we talk about the journal system? All right. Alana, I'm going to jump to the actual opportunity itself and talk about that one component. And do you have one of the elements that you prefer where they document their thoughts? And you want to talk about the EM journal?
Sure. So for the EM journal, if they just want to document their thoughts under element A, okay, that should be fine.
Perfect. So I will mimic that, and then we'll see if there's any questions on that. I've just clicked on a link for the students. They were asked to create this entrepreneurial mindset journal. There is no what can I say, a rubric for this particular thing other than your comments on and Alana, I have her on mute just a minute because my system was creating a feedback loop there, but I'll just mimic what she suggested. This is what students were asked to click on this form, download this form, and then fill it out and upload it into the cover page. And then from your perspective as a judge, what did Alana just say? I have to add some comments. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then Alana, I'll turn it over to you to talk about the kind of comments that they'd like to have. So let me do that real quick. I'll jump into the screens we were looking at before. I'm a judge. I'm clicking on my reviews. Here's my portfolios from before, and I've got to find one that's active. I'll go back to humidity issues on Guam again. And so we'll go back inside there. And on the cover page where we're looking at now, this information, if you could superimpose a keen student on there, they should have a link up to their journal entry there. You can access that and read that. But again, because in this system, it's a cover page, you'll notice in the lower right-hand corner, there's nowhere for you to add a grade. So what we'll do is in element A, which you can grade, not only will you grade whatever's sitting here relative to the rubric, the presentation and justification of the problem, but in the comment section down here, if you will type some comments for element A, but this is also where you can put your journal comments. And this way, it attaches your journal comments to the specific portfolio relative to those things. And Alana and Thor are able to keep all those together from which judge or which comments and which portfolios. So if you just add the journal comments to element A, this is how we will address dealing with the journal entry. So Alana, I'll take you off of mute. And
this is.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Okay.
So this is Thor as well. I was just going to say one thing on here too, just to make sure everyone understands. The score would be only for the element for element A. So don't include a score for the journal. The only thing we want are those comments. And we know that those comments we don't have a rubric built out for the journal, so they're going to be somewhat subjective. And we, as myself, Doug, Karen, Elena, will also review those journals and kind of rank them accordingly as well as part of this. So we'd like to get some initial feedback around your thoughts and how that aligns with curiosity, connections, and creating value. And then from there, we'll go through and finalize that as part of our final review after the scores have been submitted.
Thank you, sir. All right, now the most important part of the whole training session. Like I said, we will certainly send this recording so you can fast forward through all of through all of the pieces of it to find any part that has been confusing. We'll also send the file documents I mentioned before. But the most important part of the training is if this has raised any questions. Ken, your question before was excellent, and I hope I answered it well enough so that you can use the system to grade the way you need to grade. But are there other questions, or is there anything that you'd like me to either reiterate or show again?
If we come across any issues while we're grading, can we shoot you an email?
Absolutely. Okay. Here, I'll put that right. Thank you for asking. You are like segue person. Here is this is my phone number and my email address. If you have any issues at all, please write, and I'll help you through those. I also have other resources relative to all that NSF study. If you have specific questions about how a rubric element or the descriptor or anything like that, I can offer you those resources. It's an excellent question. So please write. I will monitor that and respond as quickly as I'm able. The only other, we haven't had any technical issues. We have dozens of competitions that have run through this system, but I will offer you to take a look at point number 1 up there. The only technical issue we've had with the innovation portal is it is so it's intense in its use of Java and other programming things that it supports pretty relative browsers. And so we've built into the system, once you access the innovation portal, it will tell you it's checking your browser. If it finds your browser to be out of date or a browser that is not supported, it'll give you a message saying you may encounter issues like a picture being thrown over some text or something like that. So you should update your browser. It will be a yellow screen in front of you. It just comes out and gives you a warning that this browser is not one of the ones that's supported. So if you don't have an up-to-date browser, that takes care of 99% of the issues that we've ever seen on using the innovation portal for a competition. So I'm going to throw that out there. I will also make this statement. Internet Explorer has been in the news and having issues on a lot of cases. There is one at the moment. We can see which browsers our students' bases are using. Only about 8% of all the users on the innovation portal are using Internet Explorer, but those that do find glitches from time to time that our programmers have been chasing for a couple of weeks. So if you experience a glitch using EMpwr, that may be the case. But either way, please write me, and I will confirm or find the answer for you. But other than that, those are the technical, I guess, background pieces of information that I could offer you. Everything else has worked exactly as we've shown it. But thank you for asking for the email and the phone number. Alana and Thor, do you have any kind of judging advice?
This is Thor. I was just going to say once again, thanks for agreeing to judge. And we look forward to having all the submissions in here from the students after end of day tomorrow. So if you do have students that are submitting, we're sending out emails. We sent out some earlier this week, sent out one yesterday, we'll send out one today and tomorrow. Please do encourage your students to finalize their submissions. And then we'll judge next week and get some information to our team. And the hope is that, as we approach Thanksgiving, we can have reviewed all of the portfolios and the scores and have selected the winners who will be receiving the 3 prizes that we have set up for the competition. If you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to reach out to Elena, to Mark, or myself, depending on what those questions are, or emailing all of us is fine as well.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
All right. Well, like I said, we've tried to make it as straightforward as possible. But once you get into it, if you do have questions, please email me, and I'll get you right back on track if something is awry. Other than that, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, judges.
Thanks.